Please be seated. As a child, I loved Christmas time. I loved the presents, time off from school, and tuning into my favorite claymation Christmas specials. I loved decorating and eating Christmas cookies, and I especially loved placing the little felt ornaments on our Christmas tree advent calendar. Basically, I loved all those things children get excited about around the holidays. Yet some of my favorite memories are of the candlelit Christmas Eve church services, and of the dozens of candles my mother would place around our home and allow me and my brother to light each night, and of course, Christmas lights. You see, my dad loved to load up our tree with hundreds and hundreds of lights. And 1,000 lights on a real Christmas tree, I think, is his record, meaning he could have given Clark Griswold a run for his money. Now, my bedroom was directly down the hall from our front bay window where we always placed our tree, with my bed perfectly situated so if my door was open, I could fall asleep staring at the lights. Meaning for many years, our Christmas tree served as my nightlight this time of year. And long before I discerned its real importance or symbolism, light found a special place in my heart, particularly this time of year when we're afforded so little of it. But the more I allowed myself to be lifted up by the artificial lights of this season, the harder I was slammed down once they went dark. So my least favorite days of the year were these: those between Christmas Day and New Year's. Because all the presents, save the one bearing the name of some relative who couldn't join us, had been opened. The cookies had either gone or gone stale, and the little pockets which held the ornaments for our Advent calendar were now bereft of their tiny felted offerings. But worst of all, I knew it was only a matter of time before the tree would be unplugged and unceremoniously unstrung, while the now shorter candles would be carefully laid in their individual boxes like the closing of so many tiny caskets, with little more than the faintest hope they might be resurrected again next year. I also knew the outdoor lights, which lit up each of the houses of our street, would soon cease to comfort me, as one by one our neighbors too would simply stop plugging them in. Now, as an adult, I must admit I still love Christmas lights, which is to say I'm still comforted early in the morning and late at night as I'm reminded by that glow pouring out of our living room, this is indeed that time of year. And yes, I still experience a kind of letdown once they're gone, especially on that first morning after we've cast out an increasingly needleless tree. I still struggle with the sudden absence of the worldly lights we all so ineptly use to try and brighten these days. I am guilty of being swept up by the glow of the secular celebration of our great feast, only to be left wanting when the lights go out, left only to prepare for the new year. Or worse, riding the frenzy through Christmas only to breathe a sigh of relief and settle in for a long winter's nap once December 26th rolls around. Because the truth is, our options, when we place ourselves at the mercy of the secular celebration, are limited. It's either that rise and then drop off of a quick Christmas followed by a ramp up for New Year's, or being lulled into hibernation once the din and the lights fade, which is all pretty bleak, to say the least. But blessedly, you and I needn't be at the dwindling mercy of the secular world. I promise you there is a better way. And that way is the very author of mercy. Because again, this year, there is a single, still-wrapped gift sitting under the soon-to-be dark and barren tree. One patiently waiting to be remembered and opened. This is the one gift I wanted and needed more than anything. And this gift is, in a word, light. Not a tiny, fragile glass bulb. Not a pile of wax and wick, but instead the light that shines in the darkness. The light that is the creation and salvation of all. The one Christmas light that winter's darkness did not and cannot overcome is ready to be poured out over all its creation. The true light, which enlightens everyone and all things, is waiting to burst into this world with a grace and glory beyond the wildest hopes of a child on Christmas. For this light means life, and it brings purpose to this life. It will not be unplugged like some tangled string of brittle, aging Christmas lights. Nor will it be snuffed out like an ever-shrinking candle. It won't lift you up only to slam you down, nor will it leave you simply longing for the next calendar event. Perhaps most importantly of all, its grace will not suffer you to settle in for a long winter's nap. Because this light illuminates every aspect of our lives, penetrating every room, casting out the darkness from even the farthest corners. This light has always been and will always be, and yet today it is made anew. It creates, it transforms. It graciously allows us to know the unknowable and to clearly see that which cannot be seen. And still it's boxed and wrapped in an unassuming and yet recognizable manner. This gift is the very thing we've been preparing for, the founder of the feast, as it were. All through Advent, we have been talking about the nature of this gift. We have been fleshing out who and what this light is. We've been preparing our homes, our worship space, and hopefully our hearts for this very thing, this one Christmas light, which then begs the question, why on earth does it sit wrapped under the dying tree that's become its worldly symbol? Why is it lying undisturbed and forgotten or simply misplaced under the very tree that bears its name? The entire world has come into being through this one gift. Yet, that very same world has taken no notice of it. I myself have made all the appropriate preparations. The entire time preaching, singing, and whispering about this gift, and yet it rests under my tree also. Like that present, lovingly chosen and carefully wrapped for that loved one who never quite made it over during the holidays. It's come to the one who has hoped and prayed and begged for its coming, only to be forgotten when its light is needed most. When all the other lights of this season have been unplugged or extinguished, and the darkness has comfortably settled in. Because the true light, the real gift, is the absolute presence of the living God here and now. The God of Moses, who delivered his people out of slavery, lighting their way through the night and wilderness as a pillar of fire, has come to do nothing less than the same for us. The word, which needed only to be spoken, "Let there be light," and there was, has been gifted to us for the illumination of all. It has been gifted to us to guide us through the darkness, that he might forever know each of us and everyone else as his children. This gift has been left to you and I to open it and to open our hearts to it. So by all means and at all costs, let's unwrap it. Let's tear into it like it's the only Christmas gift we've ever really wanted or needed, because it is precisely that. Let's rip off the bow, shred the paper, pitch the box, and hold it up so all the world might see, as if we were some child on Christmas. Because we are. And because for us who are being made children of our Father, today marks not the end of something, but the beginning of everything. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.